Most vegetable gardens are half empty, not because the gardener gave up, because of how the garden was designed. Row planting made sense when you had a tractor and an acre. You do not have a tractor. You have a backyard, a weekend, and a specific amount of space that needs to produce as much food as possible. Rows waste that space. Every path between rows is ground that is not growing food. In a standard row garden, that dead space adds up to roughly 50% of the total area. Half your garden is dirt you walk on. The grid system fixes that. It is not a new idea. It's been around since the 1940s when intensive planting methods were developed to squeeze maximum food out of minimum space. The principle is almost insultingly simple. Stop organizing your garden into rows and paths. Organize it into squares. Every square grows food. Nothing is wasted. A 4 by 10 foot bed planted in a grid produces as much food as a 10 by 20 foot row garden. Same output, half the space, a third of the weeding. Stick around because by the end of this video you will know exactly how to build one, plant one, and never look at a row garden the same way again.
Here is something nobody tells you when you start gardening. Rows were not designed for your backyard. They were designed for a John Deere. Commercial agriculture needed row spacing wide enough for machinery to pass through without destroying the crop. That spacing got passed down through gardening books, seed packets, and advice from well-meaning relatives, and most backyard gardeners have been following tractor logic ever since. In a backyard, that logic costs you. Every time you walk between rows, you compact the soil underneath your feet. Compacted soil drains poorly, restricts root growth, and fights every plant you try to grow at it. You are not just wasting space, you are actively making the growing space you do have worse, and the weeds love it. Empty ground is an open invitation. Every bare patch between your rows is a weed waiting to happen. You spend your summer maintaining paths that produce nothing and defending them against plants you did not ask for. The row garden is not just inefficient, it is a time sink that runs entirely on your energy and gives half of it back to weeds. There is a better way, and it has been sitting in old agricultural manuals for 80 years. Here is the part where the math starts to get a little ridiculous. Stay with me. The grid system starts with one measurement, 12 inches. That's your square size. Instead of thinking in rows, you think in squares, each one 12 inches by 12 inches. Every square gets one crop. The number of plants per square depends on the crop. Carrots, 16 per square. Spinach, 9 per square. Lettuce, 4 per square. Tomatoes, 1 per square. Each crop has a natural spacing requirement, and the grid system uses that requirement to pack plants in at exactly the right density, close enough that their leaves eventually touch and form a solid cover of leaves over the soil surface. That leaf cover is the secret weapon. When the leaves grow wide enough to shade the soil between plants, sunlight cannot reach the ground underneath. Weeds need light to germinate. No light, no weeds. The plants are doing your weeding for you. That is not a trick. That is just what happens when you stop leaving empty ground between everything you grow. The other thing the grid does is eliminate compaction permanently. In a grid system, you never step inside the bed. Everything is planted within arm's reach from the edge. A standard 4-foot wide bed means you can reach the center from either side without stepping in. The soil inside that bed never gets walked on. It stays loose, drains well, and gets better every season without you doing much to it. Year 1, the grid works. Year 3, it works noticeably better. Year 5, you will wonder why you ever did anything else. Now let's talk about the 3 crops that prove this system is not just theory. These numbers are the reason gardeners stop going back to rows.
Year 5, you'll wonder why you ever did anything else. Now let's talk about the 3 crops that prove this system is not just theory. These numbers are the reason gardeners stop going back to rows. 3 crops, real numbers. Carrots first. In a traditional row garden, carrots are planted in a single line with 2 to 3 inches between seeds and 12 to 18 inches between rows.
In a 4-foot wide row bed, you might get 3 or 4 rows of carrots. In a grid bed, the same 4-foot width gives you 4 squares across, and each square holds 16 carrots. That is 64 carrots in the same width, versus maybe 40 in rows, and that is being generous. Spinach tells a similar story. 9 plants per square, planted in a 3x3 pattern inside each 12-inch box. The leaves of neighboring spinach plants grow wide enough to shade the soil between them within a few weeks. At that point, the bed takes care of itself. You water, you harvest, you do almost nothing else. Now cabbage, and this one surprises people. 1 plant per square. That sounds wasteful until you understand what a cabbage actually needs. Cabbage draws a lot of nutrients from the soil and spreads wide as it matures. In a row garden, people underspace them, crowd the roots, and wonder why the heads stay small. 1 plant per square in a grid gives it exactly the room it needs, and the surrounding squares fill in with faster crops like radishes or lettuce that will be harvested long before the cabbage spreads into them. You are not wasting a square. You are timing 2 crops in the same space. That is intensive gardening, and it is exactly what makes the grid system so productive.
If you're thinking this sounds like a lot to set up, it's not. Here is exactly what you need and how long it actually takes. You do not need raised beds to run a grid system. You do not need special tools. You need a space, some string, and about an afternoon. Step 1 is marking your grid. Drive small wooden stakes into the corners of your bed. Run string between them at 12-inch intervals in both directions. You now have a visual grid over your soil. Plant to the grid. That's it. If you do want raised beds, and they do make this easier, a 4x8-foot rectangular wooden frame built from 2x6 lumber is the standard starting point. Fill it with equal parts compost, peat moss, and coarse vermiculite, 3 separate ingredients combined into one loose mixture, and you have soil that drains well and grows from day 1. That combination was popularized by Mel Bartholomew in the 1980s under the name square-foot gardening, though the intensive planting principles behind it go back decades further. The lumber frame costs around $40. The soil mixture runs another $30 to $50 depending on your source. For under $100, you have a permanent growing system that produces food every season with minimal work. And if you do not want to source all of this separately, I put together an Amazon store with everything I actually use: the beds, the soil ingredients, the tools. Link is in the description.
Now, here is the part that matters most: what you put in it and when. A 4x10-foot row garden with standard spacing gives you roughly 8 planting rows after you account for walking paths. Each row is 10 feet long. That is 80 linear feet of growing space inside a plot that is 40 square feet total. A 4x10-foot grid bed is also 40 square feet. But because there are no paths, every square foot is growing space. That same 40 square feet now holds 32 12-inch squares, each planted at maximum density. Studies on intensive planting methods, including research from UC Davis and extension programs going back to the 1970s, consistently show yields 2 to 3 times higher per square foot compared to traditional row planting. That is where the 3x number comes from. It's not a marketing claim. It's what happens when you stop dedicating half your garden to walking. Less space used, more food produced, less time weeding. The grid does not require more work than row gardening. It requires less because the system itself handles the weed pressure, the plant spacing, and the soil health over time. You are not working harder, you're just organized differently. And that difference shows up every single time you walk out to harvest. Here's what you do this week. Pick one bed. It does not have to be your whole garden. Convert one 4x4 section to a grid. Mark it with string. Plant it at grid density. Watch what happens over the next 30 days and compare it to the row section right next to it. That comparison will do more to convince you than anything in this video. The gardeners who produce the most food are not the ones with the most space. They're the ones who stopped wasting the space they already have. Go set up your grid. If you want to build a garden that feeds your family all year long, the next video is right here.
It's called How to Build a Victory Garden That Feeds Your Family Year-Round, and it's exactly where this system takes you next. Subscribe, and I'll see you over there.